Hey everyone, and welcome back to the course. This is section 2 of the ketogenic diet and how to lose 20 plus pounds course. So in this section, we are going to recap what the ketogenic diet is and go even in further detail. So let's get into it. So, as we said, the ketogenic diet is a diet that eliminates carbs from your daily food intake. Usually it is around 25 grams or less per day. And again, you would be eating relatively high amounts of fat and relatively moderate amounts of protein. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean you need to eat a bunch of butter and oil, but you can definitely add those things to your meals to up the fat intake. There are tons of keto foods out there, and they're actually, a lot of them are outlined in our what can you eat section, so we'll be talking about that pretty soon. But the idea here is that without carbs in your diet, your body has to use your own fat stores as energy, and that will in turn make your body burn fat like crazy. Now, you might be asking, how much fat and protein should I eat? The ratios for fat, protein, and carbs on the keto diet are 75% fat, 20% protein, and 5% carbs. Now, again, this probably sounds like a lot of fat and not enough carbs in your diet. But the thing you need to know about food intake and the way your body reacts to it is fat does not make you fat. The overconsumption of calories is what makes you gain weight. A easy term to remember is calories in versus calories out. So essentially, you want to be burning more calories than you take in per day. Now that can be a confusing term, as this doesn't necessarily mean you need to do a bunch of cardio every day. But what this does mean is your body automatically burns a certain amount of calories per day, and there's a certain number of calories your body has to intake to stay at its current weight. So you need to be consuming less calories than your body needs to maintain its current weight. So, how does the keto diet work? The keto diet is currently the most popular diet. I know you guys have seen it everywhere, which is why you're watching this course right now. But a lot of people don't really know how it works. It's really just a buzzword a lot of people are using to get other people to look at. So, how does the keto diet work? Now, the keto diet is currently the most popular diet. I know a lot of people have seen it around. That's why you're watching this course right now. But a lot of people don't really know how it works. Now, the keto diet works essentially by getting rid of all carbs in your body. And when this happens, your body can no longer break down glucose for fuel. And what do I mean by that? So, when you consume carbs, they enter your body and they are turned into glucose. And if you don't know, glucose is just another word for sugar. Now, no matter the type of carb, your body will turn it into sugar. Whether you're eating brown rice, white bread, or a donut, your body will turn that into glucose. Now, of course, there are differences between those food. You'll feel more full on brown rice than you will on a donut. And the brown rice has a little more nutritional value than a donut does. But essentially, when your body breaks them down, they're turned into the same thing. So, when your body can't find glucose to break down, the next thing it looks for is fat. And this is where the keto diet comes in. And this can be seen in several examples. If you've ever known someone or seen someone, or maybe you've done it yourself, if you've ever fasted for a certain period of time, your body goes a certain number of hours without any food, and your body no longer has glucose to work off of. So, where's your body getting its energy? It's actually using fat for its energy. You can actually also see this in people who end up starving to death. There are several stories of people getting lost in the wilderness, and scientists have done studies on what happens after your body doesn't have any food for a certain number of time, or a certain amount of time. So your body, once it uses up all of its glucose stores, it'll start using your body's fat as energy. And when people are starving, their body end up using all of the fat. And when the fat's gone, your body no longer has anything to use for energy. And that's why people end up starving to death. And of course, people who do keto, but also after long periods of exercise. So you can see this in marathon runners or people who do sports. They end up carbing up before their big game or their big run, because they need their body to use those carbs as energy as opposed to using their fat for energy. Now, when people carb up, they end up eating a lot of carbs because they don't want their body to go and use up all of the carbs before their game or their run is over. And because you no longer have glucose in your body, these things called ketones are released as fuel for your body and your brain. And we'll get into that. What are ketones exactly? So, now that you know that ketones are released when your body no longer has glucose in your body, we're going to talk about what they are. So, ketones are an organic compound released by the body, and they contain these carbon groups bonded to two hydrocarbon groups. That's not necessarily important for doing keto. You don't really need to know this, but I think it's kind of cool to go into. So ketones are most commonly broken down into three types. They are isoacetates, beta hydroxybutyric acids, and acetones. And again, none of this is really important to know. I just thought it would be cool to break it down. And as a side note, our ancestors actually did keto. So in the hunter-gatherer days, our ancestors never had consistent sources of food because they weren't really growing food at that time. The only way to get food was to hunt it down. And because they went these long periods without having any food, they sort of experienced doing keto. But they were also intermittent fasting, but the keto part comes in where they didn't have carbs to eat. They were simply eating the meat from animals that they were hunting down. So they were getting meat and or protein and fat from these animals, but no carbs. So essentially they were doing keto. But I just thought that was a cool side note to mention. So that's it for this section, and I will see you in the What Can I Eat section.